16 degrees, you can see your breath. Out here in the lake effect, breaking tables like it's poetry. Where else would you rather be? Pinto on Elvis in the lay poncho. The members that you need to know. 'Cause once you out here now, your family. Where else would you rather be? Where else would you rather be?
Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker and StreamYard. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud.
It's a vibe so ridiculous. Since 12 plus 83 was 6. The shout rocking like a symphony. Where else would you rather be?
All right, let's get straight to it. I'm really excited about tonight's episode tonight, as I am every week, to be honest. But this is just crazy. The NFL is truly a week-to-week league, and it really is such a fascinating entertainment. I just was looking at some of the scores last week, and then obviously the game that we'll get into with the Bills and the Dolphins squish the fish weekend. It's crazy how narratives can change. It's crazy how quickly things can change in this league, and the drama is like a soap opera. I mean, week to week, it's not scripted, but it really is like a drama and a soap opera. And it's funny because that NFL, NFL Films or whatever, NFL Network has been, kind of pumping around that commercial, joking about the NFL being scripted and kind of leaning into the conspiracy theorists, whatever the case may be. And it's been kind of really funny to watch some of those commercials come out. This has been such a great start to the season. 4 games in, our Bills are 3-1 after a resounding victory, 48-20 over the Miami Dolphins. Joining us tonight, as always, riding shotgun, my co-host, Adam Dumptruck Rupsick. You can check him out on Instagram at Adam Rupsick, RUPCZYK. Holla at the crew, DT. I mean, we back in it, DT. I mean, this has been an interesting start to the season, and such a dichotomy from week one. When we were all kind of down in the dumps with the Jets loss. I mean, this is fun, DT. I mean, I am embracing and enjoying the ride because this is really fun, man. It really is. I can't complain.
Let's go, Nickel City. What's happening, Rob? Good to be back in shotgun, and what a week we have in store coming up. What a week we just got through. I said it last week. In the beginning of the year, you're numb to that. You're back in the season because there's all that hype, and then preseason and training camp starting. You kind of gotta let off the gas a little, and then when the actual season starts, you're a little numb to actual being football. And now week 3, week 4, you catch back up and you get that juice flowing, and when it's game day, and it's everything like that. It was so pumped this weekend, so pumped to get ready and. Click clack, we back, and damn, let's go! What a day! What a past couple weeks, and what this win meant to this team and how they looked, and all the great things we'll get into tonight. But the juice is real; it feels real now, and we're back and feeling it as this team's heating up. So I'm pumped, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm pumped too, DT. It's crazy because I feel so much better about the Bills than I did, to start the season. Like after Sunday, I just feel so much better overall about the team, and we'll get into it. It's funny because it's just like I said, it's week to week, and you can feel great about your team. And how many certain fan bases felt great about their team heading into the season. The Steelers fans felt great because their preseason was perfect, and Texans fans don't know what to think because they've got a rookie quarterback, and you can go down the list. And Broncos fans have reason for optimism because they've got a new coach, and all of a sudden a couple weeks in, you're like, damn, I've got a better idea of who my team is, and we're no different here in Buffalo and across the country as Bills Mafia members. I mean, it's crazy. The Bills open up really a can of whoop-ass, DT, on the Miami Dolphins. 48-20, Orchard Park. The day is perfect. I mean, the sun is out there kissing everybody on the cheeks across the stadium, and it was really great on TV. I know we'll get to the tailgate report at the end of the episode. I didn't get a chance to make it up, and it was picturesque to watch. It looked like it was perfect, and it was something where I was like, man, I'm really happy to be a Bills fan today. I'm really proud of being a part of the Bills Mafia today because it looks so great on TV.
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, and all the lead up to, in the previous years of home games and not having great weather, and we have all the home
Yeah.
games at the end of the year, and it's been shitty. And even in the earlier season, the weather's still crappy. And this year we've been blessed with two beautiful games for the crowd at OP and ready to roll. And yeah, like you said, I'm proud to be a Bills fan, proud to be in it. This week isn't the end all be all. We'll
We'll keep
give
it in
credits to that.
perspective.
There's still a lot of games to go, and if we ended with 4 wins or 3 wins only on the season, it's not a successful season, right? So a lot left to do, a lot of work left in the tank, but man, they look good, they feel good. Everything about them is clicking right now. The 3 facets of the game are all of it. So proud to be in it. I had some obligations Sunday as well around the game. Not that we missed the game or anything, but just that feel. You're getting into the weekends and you're going to the store and you're seeing all the jerseys. You're feeling the vibe. The flags are out on the porches and people are proud and ready to roll again. So it's a good time. It's a good time.
Absolutely. I mean, it was funny that you just mentioned all 3 phases because all 3 phases really did contribute to this win, even special teams included, whether you recognized it or not. But offense, defense, special teams all contributed to this W. I mean, 70 points, my ass, DT. 70 points, my black toe. My black right pinky toe. The talk of the league, and for for great reason. I mean, we talked about it here on the show, here at the Crew about how listen, this team is dangerous. Anytime you come off putting up historic numbers, it's going to catch the league's eyes, and it's going to catch everybody's eyes and prognosticators, and it caught our eyes as well. And it was a lot. 70 points was impressive, and it was something to look at and to kind of dissect to see how sustainable that was. But the Bills, really, to be honest, man, we've got to start this off. I'm one of the biggest critics, of Sean McDermott. I'm in favor of an offensive coach. You all know that here at Nickel City Crew. I want the continuity on the offensive side of the ball. I don't want to kind of churn through offensive coordinators as they become successful or they fail. We've talked about all of those types of things. So if they're successful, they'll get buzz around the league, and then they'll attract new jobs. If they're failures, then they're going to get fired, and we'd have to find a new OC that way. I'd love for the quarterback and my head coach to be in lockstep, kind of like Shanahan, kind of like the Rams and McVay. I'd love for that kind of continuity. However, we've got what we've got. Sean McDermott has been a professional. He's been great for the team since coming in for Rex Ryan, created that level of culture in respects to the fact of kind of getting the tie back on the Buffalo Bills, so to speak, from the frat house that Rex Ryan was running. Can't take anything away from him on that. And I've questioned some of his late game decisions on big games and different things like going for field goals and different things of that nature, DT. But this is Sean McDermott's magnum opus. This is it. This was his finest hour to me personally as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills. What did you see there on the field Sunday, DT? Because, I mean, this was really his finest hour. This is a situation where we've got to give us flowers. I would be off brand if I talk shit about the guy, and then when he's in his shining moment, he's not acknowledged. He was great on Sunday. He was really on display. I mean, it was something masterful.
Well, Rob, I mean, we're not surprised, right? I mean, the defense has been stout since he's come in. It's been a top-tier defense, since he took over for Rex Ryan. But, the magnum opus is the best way to put it. I mean, this is the game that you had to slow down a top-tier offense. And throughout his career, it seems like McDermott has kind of had the answers for when they're facing big-time players. In the early part, when, Lamar Jackson's MVP season, when, they seemed pretty much unstoppable. They did beat the Bills in Orchard Park, but it seemed like they kind of slowed down Lamar Jackson somehow. Last year with the Dolphins, if you will, the Chiefs have never really had a great top-tier offensive game against us other than maybe that playoff game where the Bills, that was kind of a nature of the beast in the game back and forth. Of that. I don't think it was necessarily just a defensive play call. So he's been able to adjust and kind of maintain and, lock down these high power offenses as he's seen them come across. I mean, the Dolphins, 70 points, give them their credit the week before as they're due. You get a week 1 win against the Chargers for the Dolphins, who kind of, they're looking like maybe they're stride, but Herbert might be hurt. They're already in a bye week.
Right.
They might just be the same old Chargers over the past couple of years. Then the Patriots, they get by with Bill Belichick kind of playing that conservative shell look against them.
Sure.
And the
Mhm.
Patriots might be, a top 5 draft pick coming up this year, the way they're kind of looking with Mac Jones and the boys and their defense is dropping like flies. So
Right. Mhm.
going to week 3, Denver, in a tank battle with Chicago on Sunday to see who wants the first pick and even worse.
Caleb
So
Williams, yeah.
still credit to the Dolphins and doing what they're doing. I think they're going to be a playoff team for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But they might not be, a top tier team that we're going to be, competing for an AFC title against. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. But throughout the whole career, I think McDermott has step up and rang the bell of when it's been, okay, this is a high power offense. What are you going to do? There's
Mhm.
some sort of answer for it. And that was no different on Sunday. I mean, the answer was there. The answer was pure. The game started off hot. It looked like
Yeah.
maybe it would be a
Track meet,
68 to
baby.
70 game. Bet me
Yeah.
over all day long. But they
Yeah.
kind of settled in, got the adjustment. Started bringing pressure, making up, messing with that timing, and that's been kind of the common theme when the Dolphins started to slide last year when Tua was still in the games. Was take out that first read and disrupt that timing because it's a timing based offense. And the Bills kind of settled in, got
Yeah.
comfortable. That bend don't break, bend don't
Yeah.
break, bend don't break. And then then once they smelled the blood, they started to attack. So I loved every part of it. I was ready for the show, but at the same time, I don't know why I was even thinking in the show. I should have got back to we're bend don't break. This is what we do, and I shouldn't even thought it was going to be a shootout. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because the defensive game plan was flawless, to be honest. The adjustments were made. So as it's funny, you stole my notes. It did sound like it was going to be a track meet to start. And Miami comes out, they score 14 quick points. We're scoring as well. Obviously, they deferred, they won the coin toss, so we've got the ball to start and we go down and score. But it seemed like when it was 14-14, you're absolutely right, DT. It seemed like this was getting ready to be a track meet. And it was funny because Tony Romo, I heard him and I watched the game back, and like he's talking about third quarter starts. The Bills are playing a lot of this, what they call palms coverage, and like where it's one guy gets 2 or 2 guys get 4, and they're kind of they're in that zone, but they're kind of reading different areas. And whatever it's called, DT, it worked because they disrupted the timing of the offense. We saw Tua Tagovailoa, holding onto the ball. We saw him kind of unsure of himself in respects to reloading. He's bringing back down. He's at the top of his drop. At his hitch, he's ready to let it go, and then he sees something that he's not comfortable with, and then he's holding it for just that half second, which is obviously allowing the defensive end and the defensive line to get through, and we'll talk about them as well because they were masterful. But the actual game plan itself from McDermott, DT, was one where it was intentional. They made adjustments. We always hear that word. Well, we didn't make any adjustments on offense, or we didn't make any adjustments on defense. Obviously, these guys are not slouches. These coaches are getting paid. They're going back and making adjustments. It's just sometimes their adjustments are not worth a damn, and it doesn't matter in certain games. In this particular case, the adjustments did matter. McDermott found something in that offense that he was able to exploit, and it was clear to see, especially after 14-14, that he had something on them and that was going to work. And he kind of just pounded it. He kind of went to it, didn't go away from it. And it resulted in really a Tua that we haven't seen. Bill sacked him 4 times, hadn't been touched pretty much all season long, let alone sacked. Interceptions. Everything was kind of clicking for the defense, DT. It was a situation where after that 14th point was scored, it was kind of clamps down on those guys, man, to be honest. Man, the Bills go on a run in the second half, and it was really never in doubt.
I was impressed with the speed of the defense. I was impressed
Yeah.
with the moxie of that defense. And,
Yeah.
we've heard it all week that, how are we going to change this defense up to stop the Dolphins? Are we going to do what Belichick was doing? Are we going to bring in a
Right.
third safety?
Yep.
Is Kyrie
We talked
going
about
to
it.
start? Yeah, it was the same defense that they've been running all year and the confidence in that. And that speaks volumes. What does that give to the players in this team of, we're not going to change anything. We're this top tier defense because we are this top tier defense. Yeah, we're
Mhm.
facing a good offense, but you're going to see that pretty much every week in today's league, and especially
Right.
for the next run on the schedule, you're going to see a lot of good offenses, and that's a lot
Mhm.
of confidence in McDermott and this. Everybody on the defensive side of the ball can be like, all right, we are those dudes. This is our
Mhm.
defense. We can stop people by playing our defense, and I think that spoke more volumes to the actual stopping itself. Is we didn't have to change shit. Like we're out here gonna still punch you in the mouth, and gonna still beat you straight up. So
Yeah.
I loved every part of that. I think that it speaks a lot more than just stopping the Dolphins that week. It gives that defense so much more confidence that we can do us and be the best defense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because like even in the beginning of the game, you saw, the Dolphins had some success with some of that motion. And we talked about it last week, you know what I mean, on the episode and talked about how they correct a lot of window dressing and a lot of different things to kind of get that eye candy where the guys are focused on the wrong thing, so to speak. And I specifically remember when they scored that second touchdown to A-Chain, how they were a Chan, I guess he's pronouncing it, and how like Tyreek Hill was in the backfield and he's lined up as a running back. And then all of a sudden, there's motion across the field and everybody's focused on Tyreek Hill, or at least we were at home, and including in the stadium as well with the Bills defense. They follow for a second after the snap of the ball. They slip it to HN, and then all of a sudden he's in the end zone for their second touchdown of the day. I didn't see any of that type of eye candy affecting the Bills the rest of the game. That's what I mean by adjustments. This is why I have to give it to Sean McDermott, because he gets full marks for me from being an extreme critic, because of the fact that I want to see stuff on the fly. I want to see you adjust. I want to see you, kind of make adjustments to what's happening in the game. Sometimes your play script is great, but it doesn't work. You know what I mean? That's on the offensive side of the football as well. Sometimes Ken Dorsey can have a great scripted first 15 plays, 20 plays. If they're not working, scrap it. Let's figure out something else. And that's really a mark of a good coach. So I've never once said that Sean McDermott is not a good coach or anything like that. Again, I lean towards offensive side of the football, but I would be a hypocrite basically to criticize him the way that I do and then not give him his flowers on really what was a masterful game plan, man. DT,
we're talking wildlife.
Crazy.
We're talking wildlife. We're talking cheetah. This was a lion hunt, to your National Geographic textbook lion hunt. I mean, you go out, they're patient, they're watching that prey. They kind of let the prey do what they want to do to feel comfortable. Drink from that watering hole, walk around, act like it's a normal day, and then you attack. Because when that second half started, it changed from like, oh, are the Dolphins going to keep scoring, to like, oh, I can't wait for the next hit. We might get a fumble. I can't wait to knock this dude out. I can't wait to get the next sack. It changed from, is it going to be back and forth, to I can't wait for the next play to see what good this defense can do. That's the vibe and the energy I was carrying with that defense. Like, oh, is the next tackle going to be a fumble? Who's going to get the next sack? Like, who's got the next pick? Like, it turns to almost like that type of energy, then the back and forth just stopping them. It's like, how can we dominate them? So that's the vibe it's carrying.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because 58 DT. I mean, Matt Milano, I know that he's probably, he'll never probably garner Hall of Fame votes too much, but I mean, Wall of Fame, like this guy, like what else do you want from him? And then 43 has been playing so well. Terrell Bernard coming up with a key fumble recovery once again, but he's kind of like Johnny on the spot for me. But I mean, Matt Milano, DT, once again, his nose is just always in it. He's always around the football. He's always in the spot that he's supposed to be in. And he's really one of those guys where I look at him and I watch him play. I remember listening to Mama Monday when she came on and she was just like, he's rarely out of position. I'm like, he's never out of position, it seems like. And again on Sunday, the same way. Matt Milano leading the way. Terrell Bernard, playing well as well. Those linebackers, man, that's something, man. You're playing nickel that often. You've got those 4 down linemen. You've got those 2 linebackers, and then the rest of the secondary out there. You need those linebackers, to be quick, to trigger, to fire off the ball, to diagnose plays quickly, DT, figure out what's going on, not hesitate. Sometimes we would, look at Tremaine Edmonds and he's hesitating and then he's kind of following the play as opposed to initiating the play. And these guys are just they're right where they're supposed to be before the play even happens. And I have really enjoyed watching the two of them, especially 58. I mean, Matt Milano is he's something else, man. He's Wall of Fame worthy for me, man. He really is.
That juice and pressure means so much to that defense as well. When you're in on every play, when you're in on every tackle, that everybody else on that field has got to see that. Like if that's your side of the field and that's your assignment, and 58 is getting to that tackle before you, that's going to put the kick in your ass to be like, damn, this dude can't keep beating me to my spot like that, and he's doing that for every player, for every spot, right? And so that just brings everybody up. It's like almost we'd love to have him on our team, but we can't look bad because 58's looking so good, and that's the type of thing that that kind of subconscious leadership.
Iron sharpens iron.
The leadership comes from the linebackers, and you see that with all the great linebackers in the history of the NFL. It's like that. They're on every play. The Ray Lewis's, the Luke Kuechlys, they're on every single play, and That's what makes
Urlachers,
them great
yeah.
linebackers. Yeah, exactly,
Yep.
exactly. And so everybody else has to raise that level to make sure they're not getting one up by these dudes, 43 and 58 behind them. But I love it, man. They're bringing the boom, they're bringing the speed. They're, like I said, it's changing from like, let's just get the stop to, oh, when's the next fumble? When's the next pick? When's the next sack? And that's what I love.
Yeah, man, I love it too. One of the things I also love, DT, in addition to the linebackers and how they been playing, is that D line, DT. I mean, it's ferocious.
Let's go.
It's everything that I wanted. I heard WGR. You guys know I'm an avid listener. Somebody called up the other day and was like, "Is this the best line since the cold front?" And I was like, thinking back, and I was like, "Well, Mario Williams is really good." And I was like, Marcel Darius was motivated and he was good back when he first started. And I'm like, Kyle Williams, he's the wily vet and he knows where to be. And then I'm like, on the other side, you've got Jerry Hughes. And I'm like, these guys might be better. And 40, it hasn't even been open Miller time. Like the beer hasn't even been cracked open yet for Miller time. And I'm like, Leonard Floyd is really good. 30 sacks almost, 29 and a half in the last 3 years. So I love that pickup. We talked about it when he got picked up in the offseason. Then we've got, guys on the inside. We love Ed Oliver. We wondered why he got the extension, hoping that he would live up to it. Not only is he living up to it, but he's top in the leagues in tackle for loss. He's top in the league for defensive tackles with quarterback pressures to start the season. He's having a career year, his best year, just like he said he was going to outplay the contract. He's already starting to bring that to fruition. Then I'm like, okay, well, the other defensive tackles, Day, and then Day got a sack on Sunday. And I'm telling Nate, Nate, I'm like, Uncle DT, he knows him. He knows Day. Yeah. He knows him, whatever. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah, we're trying to get him on Nickel City Crew. And then I look at the other side, and it's Greg Rousseau, first round pick. You know what I mean? A lot invested, long, rangy, versatile, somebody that can disrupt some things. I'm like, this might be the best defensive line since the cold front. And we, again, haven't even cracked open the beer. It hasn't even become Miller time. Von Miller, again, as you all know, Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia, just got back to work today. We air these episodes on Thursday, but on Wednesday, he just got back to practice. DT, that's kind of scary to think about the cold front because that was a great defensive line back then with Mario Williams and the crew. These guys, DT, they are good, man. I don't think they have to hold that candle to anybody. They're good. They're real good.
One hand feeds the other with this, Rob. You're looking at, as we say, it starts in the trenches and the line wins the games and the penetration, leads to everything else. And it works both ways. Yes, they're penetrating, leading it to, so it's easier for the linebackers and for the defensive backs. But then when the defensive backs and linebackers are playing like they are, it also opens it up for the defensive line to kind of cut loose and get after it. And that's when they're their best. And, across the board, every single player is contributing on it. We don't get too deep into stats here on the crew, but, just looking through these defensive line is a place where stats really aren't a thing, right? It's all about pressure and visual and plugging. And these dudes are all putting up numbers. I mean, everyone had a sack the other day. You got Greg Rousseau with 2 sacks and a pass deflection. Ed Oliver with a sack and QB hits. These dudes are having sacks and they're also having 2 or 3 QB hits per game as well. So they could very well all have
which the quarterback remembers.
3 sacks a game. And, I love it. Ed Oliver's been consistent throughout the year. You still got depth on this defensive line with Tim Settle and Poona Ford and dudes we're not seeing a lot of yet that we might see later in the year when we need that depth. Epineza playing great. Floyd has been awesome for us. I can't wait for 40. And this is only better when 40 does come back. He doesn't have to play every play. We can use him how we want to use him to conserve him for when we need that third down stop, when we need that rush in the playoffs, and we can use 40 for that. But, yeah, shout out to Jones, top PFF rating on the whole team Sunday.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Very consistent all year. People are starting to come around, 2 years ago. It's like, why are we signing this scrub? And, and he's been one of the most consistent players on our defensive line, like consistent leadership, bruteness. They're playing mean, Rob. They're playing mean. And
they are.
I love to see that.
They
and
are.
That's, a quarterback that gets the ball out faster than anybody in Tua. Now you like, what about a quarterback that holds on to the ball? Well, you saw it 2 weeks ago with Sam Howell, and they sacked his ass 100 times. So let's keep this keep this rolling. Where on the old meme of when Dan Jones is in the shotgun looking at the 49ers D, that's how quarterbacks are going to start looking at this defense because they're not hiding anything. What you can prepare for them. What they're going to run, but they're just good enough to stop you. they're just good enough to stop you right now. So that's a good feeling to have, a good swagger and vibe. But yeah, I love this defensive line playing
I love it.
angry, playing swaggy, baby,
I
playing
love it.
swaggy.
Yeah, got that Rick Ross, yeah,
Yeah,
energy to it. You know what I mean? I really do like it because when you watch those guys play, it's like, oh, there's blood in the water. You know what I mean? And like that's type of thing. Like you can see it on those guys' faces. You can see it in the way that they're playing, their mannerisms, the fact that how they're playing the game, and you could just tell when they see blood, they're all going to get the quarterback. They're all going to get the running back in the backfield. Like I said,
that
Ed
was
Oliver
awesome.
with all those tackles for losses. Like these guys they're feeding, and then what happens is success will breed competition within yourself. So I'm going to make the next play. Like you said, I'm going to make the next play. Like the Matt Milano point that you talked about. I'm going to make the next play. I'm going to be the one that's going to come up with the next play. And that is, iron sharpens iron. It's one of those things where everybody's starting to push everybody. And that is something that is really, truly scary for opposing offenses as we get deeper into the season. Now, the only, dark spot of the game, to be honest, as we transition a little bit before we talk about the offense, DT, our thoughts, our prayers are with Tre'Davious White. You see him right here behind me, DT, one of my favorite Buffalo Bills. Outside of Steph Diggs, like 27 is my guy. I love his approach to the game. One of my favorite things being at the game and enjoying Trey White is during commercial timeouts when he is out and he's dancing on the field and he's just getting the crowd going, and nobody really knows that he's doing it, obviously, because it's on commercial break, but the 70,000 people at the Ralph. And I really love seeing his energy. His energy is infectious. The way that he worked hard to get back, it was gut-wrenching to watch him on the field. And I'm watching the game with Nate, and he was like, well, do you think he's really hurt, or whatever the case may be? And I'm like, you saw him throw the helmet, you know what I mean, Nate? Like that's it. Look, like anytime he's throwing the helmet like that, and then he was crying when they came back from commercial break. I'm like, he knows that it's something. We obviously didn't know it was Achilles. I didn't know if it was that ACL. I didn't know what was going on, but I just knew that he knew it was serious. And my heart instantly went out to him. So from Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia, we all extend the warmest wishes and quick recovery to Tre'Davious White. I mean, just a great leader for the team. You heard how the team spoke about him, DT, afterwards. Mitch Morse, all the guys talking about how much he means to the locker room, how much they recognize his effort and his work that he put in to get back to this point from his Thanksgiving Day ACL tear. And it's just sad. I mean, it was literally on a bright day, the only dark spot of the whole day.
Yeah. I kept it, humbled and grounded a little bit on a, unfortunately,
it reminds you.
And just so much, feel for him. We don't have to, go too deep into it, but it's like the ACL and how much that took out of him, and then he finally, even when he got back last year, it was tough, and he was ready to go, but that mental hurdle, he wasn't even back, and then he got back, and he still wasn't right. Started to get rolling, and then this year he just started just like old Trey, old Trey, and it's like
rounding into form.
Now we're juice, wealth of riches, everything we got, and then it happens again, and he knows that dark path that he fought through and had to get back from. He's got to do it all over again, and it's probably going to be harder, because he's a year older, and everything's harder, and every day is a day closer to the end of your career, and I just feel for him for what he means to this team and everything. You can only hope that this is going to breed inspiration for the team, to play for him and let it loose, and his backups got to come in and fill those shoes. It ain't just stepping up, next man up. Like, you have to be as good as 2-7, and that's not an easy task by any means. So prayers definitely for him and his recovery, but it sucks, man. It definitely does. Literally the only dark spot in the entire day. But I think it was, everything happens for a reason, and the dark spot was noticeable enough for, the Mafia and the team to really feel it and hoist that. Like, we can go in here and win the game by 100, but one of our brothers just went down, and we got to play for him and keep that rolling for him. So we can only hope it sparks inspiration, and we can only hope he comes back, better than ever, whenever that is.
Yeah, I think it'll be a rallying cry, to be honest, if you know this team and you know this group. And obviously we watched them last year go through all the adversity that they went through from the beginning of the season, even the offseason with the Tops massacre, all the way through the season with the Blizzards and things like that. So we know that they're close-knit. We know that they'll band around him. You heard Sean McDermott say that he's got no doubt that he's going to come back, different things like that. But, it's tough when you're an athlete, like you talked about. They're human. So we have talked about humanism and humanizing these guys all off season, and Steph Diggs and yada, 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 Josh Allen. These guys are human, so let's not forget that. So let's at least send him positive energy because he does have a long road ahead of him. Now, what that does mean as we transition to the offense, before we do, is that it looks like Kyrie Elam's going to have to get a jersey, DT. Like, you're going to have to put your big boy pants on, and I don't know what was going on with you. I don't know what was going on with practice. I don't know what was going on with your preparation. I don't know what it is with the scheme that you're not getting or he's not quite picking up on, but we need him now. Benford was a little bit banged up during the game. He comes back into the game. He does finish the game last week for the Bills, and then you've got Dane Jackson on the other side. I would be almost shocked if they're playing 100% of the snaps, just those two, Benford and Jackson. I would expect 24 gets a jersey. He gets in the rotation, and he should be on his P's and Q's because this is the opportunity that you're looking for. A lot of times you can get buried on a depth chart, and then you never see the light of day again, and he could have been on the depth chart all the way up until next training camp. Injuries happen. They're part of the game. Looks like Elam, an athletic corner that they drafted with traits for a reason, he's going to get a jersey again, DT.
We can hope. I mean,
he's
like I said,
get one, right?
if he doesn't, the answer's there. If he doesn't get a jersey after all this, the answer's there.
Yeah.
So, it's tough. Like, maybe make a move, but you don't have anybody really make the move with.
They brought somebody into the practice squad the other day, and that's really about it. So I would anticipate that he gets a jersey, gets an opportunity to be in that rotation just for either when they need breathers or if there's a different scheme that they're running that they need some athleticism in that respect. So we'll see. As we transition to the other side of the football, DT, I mean, 17. I mean, he's a long ways away from Sugar High Josh. I mean, it seems like the Jets game is forever away and so long ago because Josh Allen was perfect. I mean, on Sunday, literally perfect quarterback rating. First time in franchise history, 158.3. And I don't really know what you can say about his game, DT, other than locked in the moment, ready to rise to the occasion. He knew it was a big game. So don't tell me shit about Josh gets all flustered for big games because we've already debunked that with Mama Monday. We know that he doesn't get too flustered for big games. It's something in his mental clock a lot of times that he's got that. I think she called it performance anxiety. So, he gets that. That can happen any week, whether it's week one or any week of the season or a playoff game. We know that he gets up for the big games, DT. He offensive player of the week again, another franchise record for the Buffalo Bills. DT, talk about your quarterback. I mean, I feel like T.O., man. I feel like crying and letting some tears fall down my face. And that's my quarterback. And just feel like I'm talking about my quarterback. I mean, I'm proud of him. I'm proud of the way that he has bounced back since week one. And that's what I meant in the beginning of the show, DT, about how this is a week-to-week league because as mad and as pissed off as we were at Joshua Patrick Allen after the first week, I mean, I'm telling you, the man was absolutely flawless Sunday. He was flawless. It was beauty. It was a beauty to watch.
Rob, what's one of my favorite lines about 1-7, right?
You say he's generational.
Generational, and he's addicting.
He's addicting. Yes.
17's addicting. I mean, how fun is it to watch football on Sundays and 1-7's playing like that? How sick is that?
Yeah, man.
How sick is that?
That's our quarterback.
It's literally addicting to watch, and played perfect. Rob threw the ball 25 times. 25 times. I mean, this is 25 times. I mean, we're in the days of quarterbacks throwing 50 times a game without blinking. That's just how it is. And he threw half of that and still put up 300 and perfect. And credit to the defense. The pass. Yep, exactly. 4 tutties. Well, 5 total. Well, with the rush,
ran 1 and 2.
Going to pass or 2. Yep. So you look in credit to the defense. We're getting them in situations where they didn't need a 10-minute, 95-yard drive to get it done. And credit to everybody else on the offense, the run game, the line, for making it as easy on them as possible. Mm-hmm. But it literally is practice, Rob. It's practice. It's like a walkthrough out there. It's 7-on-7. All right, we got 2 guys going here. This is going to cross. Yeah. Hit your drop, find the guy, throw it to him. This is literally looking like practice the last 3 weeks. And we talked about it last year of looking easy and get it rolling. We can only hope this continues, because teams are going to be game planning to make 17 not look like he's in practice the rest of the year. Because people are going to start getting sick of going out there and getting their ass kicked every Sunday by 28 plus points, because it's becoming a regular thing. So 17's addicting. Was a beautiful game to watch him play. All around great offensive. We'll get into the rest of the offense here next, but very efficient, throwing the ball 25 times. That's the biggest thing that jumped off the page for me. Like
Mhm.
everyone, we need him to do too much. It's all on his shoulders. He's got to run 15 times a game. He's got to throw it 50 times a game. Runs it 4 times.
Yeah.
And really, really ran it twice. The other
Yes.
2 were just kind of to get away, whatever.
Right.
Runs it twice, scores a touchdown, throws it 25 times, a quarter of what other quarterbacks are doing in the league on Sunday,
Only
and still
4
throws for
incompletions.
300. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and another AFC Player of the Week, his 12th, just surpassed Kelly with his 11th 2 weeks ago. Now he
Correct.
gets the 12th this week. So, a beautiful week for 17 and the boys, and literally he's addicting, Rob. Like, it's so sick.
I love when DT gets fired up about his quarterback, man. I mean, don't cross DT. If you see him in Tops, if you see him at Tim Hortons, please don't say nothing about 17 because DT will lose his mind. He is definitely one of his staunchest defenders.
Saturday, Rob, I won't mention any names, but I'm at a wedding and I'm getting in a little conversation. No, like too much, disrespect or argument on any end, but just your stereotypical, 17 criticism of, hero ball, he does this, he does that. And I said, okay, like, yeah, but what about this? Like, or what about this? And then who else would you rather have? I'm giving that argument and whatnot. And then Sunday happens and I text that person, I say, how do you think 17 played today? How do you think 1-7 played today?
I love it.
Hero ball.
I mean, I love it. I love it. Because a lot of times he's doing that stuff either out of necessity. He used to. Sometimes, yes, he was forcing it. We talked to Mama Monday about that, and he's forcing the issue and doing a little bit too much. Obviously, the Jets game. But boy, when he's locked in, when he's calm, when he knows the offense, he knows what Dorsey or Dable, what they're trying to accomplish. He can, he is, you're absolutely right. Addicting is the right word because he's one of the most electrifying players to watch. That's regardless of position. I'm talking about Micah Parsons. I'm talking about Mahomes. I'm talking about any of the guys in the league that you love to just sit down and you're like, this is why I love football. And you watch those guys kind of do their craft and do their work. And it's just like, it's just poetry, emotion on the screen. Josh Allen fits that same bill. Like he's on that same playbill with the rest of the guys.
Finger on the pulse to be a leader of this team. I mean, he clicks into that hyper competitive mode, that dog mode, and everyone follows, and this team follows that juice. I mean, something as dumb as the Dolphins coming in with that emoji T-shirt.
The T-shirt that they loved, that they were all over.
Underdogs. Oh, we're underdogs. Oh, and then Josh scoring that touchdown and throwing it up like
they all over it, man.
This motherfucker house. Yeah. Let's go.
I love it. They don't miss anything. They tell the athletes always love to tell you that they don't listen. They always love to tell you that they don't pay attention, but they are human. We have talked about
that leadership and like your team coming in there and your quarterback's doing shit like that, and you're like, okay, we're rolling with this cat.
Yeah, you are rolling with a cat like that because I would love to play with a Josh Allen because that would, it just shows you, you know what I mean? We'll stay quiet all week. We won't say a word, and then we'll let our play do the talking for us on Sunday. And then, yes, we'll let you know that we'll let you know with the emoji that we let you know that we heard you. We heard, you guys are all wondering why you're an underdog because because this is why, because we're getting ready to beat you by 4 touchdowns.
And I'll be the spokesperson for that. He says, I will stand up and say, this is us. This is us.
I love it. So, I love it. I also loved as we transitioned to the offensive play caller for the Bills. I love that first touchdown to Gabe Davis because what was interesting about that one, DT, was that it was scripted and it was so well sold. It starts with Josh Allen. It starts with with the motion from Deontay Hardy, and then all of a sudden, I'm looking at the screen like, oh, okay, it looks like Hardy's going to get a quick swing pass here, whatever the case may be. And then all of a sudden, he flips his hips and he goes from Hardy to I mean, and the quarterback sucked up. The linebackers took a couple steps up. Like everybody was sold on what was getting ready to happen, including me at home watching. And I'm like, yeah, he's about to swing it up to Hardy for a nice quick pass, and we'll see how many yards if he can get some wiggle, that type of thing. And then all of a sudden he flips those hips back, and Gabe Davis in the back of the end zone, and I'm like, that's my end zone. That's where I would be if I was at the game. And I'm screaming, and me and Nate are going crazy. And I was like, man, like that's it. Like that was a beautiful play design as we get ready to talk about Ken Dorsey because Dorsey deserves some credit as well. DT, I know he's been under fire and not too much here at the Crew or anything like that, but he's been under scrutiny just because of the fact that, I know that how much I miss Brian Dable and I miss his leadership and I know how he can rein Josh in, so to speak, and he kind of dials up those easy button throws, those easy button plays for him to kind of keep him on track. Dorsey had a really good game plan, DT. I mean, I don't know if it was on par with the way McDermott was, because obviously 70 points is 70 points. So you've got to get prepared and extra prepared for an opponent like that. But Dorsey was no slouch today, man. Like he was ready to go on Sunday, had the game plan ready. And, again, you've already spoken about, like, executing it to perfection. The entire offense really was. I mean, the run game was a little bit subpar, but at least it was a threat. And I mean, the passing game, Dorsey had people running open. I mean, Diggs, he had guys running open. We'll get to Diggs. I got to give my salute to the captain, but he had guys running open. And I think that's something that we all want to see. Something that looks easy, whether it's easy or not. I want it to look like you guys have some manufactured open plays for Josh.
And game conscience. I mean, it wasn't just this is my playlist. This is my set plays. We're going to go out here and make these script work. It was, hey, this is the feel of the game. Hey, this is okay. We got them we got them up against the wall. We got them on their backs a little. Let attack when they needed to attack. Run, slow it down when they needed to slow it down. It was a great, game call, but it was also a great feel for that game. I mean, I think we're starting to see that a little more with Dorsey, as this defense is giving them a little more and putting the offense in better positions, that it doesn't have to be, here's my set calls, I'm a creative offensive coordinator. It's what is the best to keep this offense in a flow, keep this offense rolling, and keep the momentum of the game in this winning favor. And I think the last 3 weeks we've seen greatness when it comes to that, okay, we got a turnover. We don't need a 10-minute drive here to chunk some clock. We're gonna lull them with a few runs and then bang, touchdown shot, and you really feel it. And they know they needed that in Miami to kind of end the boat race and end these dudes from keeping it close as it went, and almost playing offense, almost playing defense with the offense, if you will, Rob. And I think it's the past 3 weeks we've really seen that feel for the game when it comes in. Like, they're calling the right plays to be comfortable, to keep the game in check and keep in total control of the game, not even let the other team even sniff. It's we got to play catch up. It's not an even ball game, and that first touchdown was nice. That was
beautiful, man. I mean, that was beautiful.
1-7 put that thing on a rope. It darn near knocked Gabe Davis over. He caught that shit in the end zone and almost fell over.
His momentum,
it was coming so fast. I mean, so
it's like a pass from Big Ben Fillell in the parking lot. Yeah,
that game plan and feeling the flow of that game along with that laser. I mean, let's go.
Yeah, man. It's funny because you're absolutely right. It's like me trying to go out there a couple drinks in and catch a pass from Big Ben, and he puts a little bit too much juice on it. And I think I'm a little bit younger than I am, and I'm running and I'm getting ready to fall. I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to fall into some fucking rock. So let me just calm down. And that is exactly what it was like, because the fake fooled me. I know, at home, I don't know what it was like in the stadium in that respect, but I know on TV, when I saw Josh make himself perpendicular with the sideline, and he was looking at the sideline at Hardy, I was like, okay, this is going to be a quick swing. And I'm, what you always hope for in a quick swing pass is somebody make somebody miss, use some speed, different things like that. And it was funny because it was like, man, as soon as he made that fake out there, I was like, this is going to be a swing pass. And then he flips his hips again, throws to, Gabe Davis, and it was like, holy shit, like, he is on point. Like, he is really ready to go today. And that was really when I knew that he was ready to rock that day, because that started the game. That's all precision. That's all timing. That's all things that they have worked on, where you've got to be patient. You've got to sell your eyes. You've got to let safety come up. You've got to let those linebackers come up, different things like that. And it was just fun to watch, because it was on point.
The game plan as well, completions to 9 different receivers. Really should have been 10. Khalil Shakir should have had that tutty down the sideline.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was a dot. The kids call that a dot. The kids call that a dot.
Completions to 9 different receivers, and that's all part of that Ken Dorsey scheme. So kudos to KD.
Absolutely. Now before we talk about Captain Diggs, and I take personal pride in talking about Captain Diggs, especially after the offseason that Nickel City Crew has had defending this man. Joining us tonight as well, linking up. He's coming in at the perfect time, because we're talking offense and we're getting ready to wrap up a little bit. But I wanted to hear your thoughts about 17, because it's interesting, man. We were DT and I were just kind of gloating over our quarterback, and I was crying like T.O. Big Mike. And joining us, Not Your Average Podcast in the 716 over at Built in Buffalo, co-host Big Mike Davis, a friend of the Nickel City Crew, a friend of the crew. Holla at the crew, Big Mike, because I mean we were gloating over 17, and then I started to cry a little bit, and the DT was like, "Listen, don't sound too much like T.O." And I'm like, "I know, but that's my quarterback." Somebody offended me the other day, man. I mean, he is something. I mean, he's something else, Big Mike. When he's locked in, is what DT and I were talking about. All jokes aside, is that just when he's locked in. He's something else, man. I mean, you don't have to be ashamed of him or anything like that. He's ready to go, man. Like he's a quarterback you could be proud of for sure. When he's ready to go, when he's locked in, there's nobody like him, man. On planet Earth, there's nobody like him.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on. What's going on, fellas? DT, Rob.
What's good?
It's good to see y'all. It's me, Big Mike. If you don't know who it is, Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. Go holler at us if you get a chance. But our quarterback is a G, man. Yeah, I've always talked about this on our podcast. I feel like once he's in his mode and he's playing correctly and not rushing and things like that, he's the best quarterback in the league, hands down. I mean, and you can't convince me otherwise, because this guy, once he gets his timing down, and like the last couple of games, I've been so impressed with his timing and his decision making and his confidence in himself. And so I feel like he's in his bag, and you can't mess with Allen when he's in his bag. You cannot. I'm sorry, he's too cool for this. You know what I'm saying? He's too cool for this. Combined with Diggs out, I mean, shining to the umpteenth power. Like Diggs is just Diggs. Diggs is always open. Diggs is always ready. Diggs is strong.
Oh God, man! Do not take my thunder. You came on late, man. You're not gonna take my thunder, man. Because I'm getting ready. Let's give a salute to the captain, man. Let's give a salute to the captain, Captain Diggs, man. Because listen, I wrote on my notes just Diggs and then just a whole bunch of fucking explanation points. Like Diggs is my guy. And DT, the reason I love him so much is he is authentic. I'm authentic. I'm not fake. I can't do fake. I can't be fake. So, I mean, and that's in my regular life when I meet people, the way I conduct myself as a man. I can't be fake. Stephon Diggs is authentic, DT. He cares about winning. We've already gone over that this offseason. He cares about competing for a championship. We've already gone over that. He is not a bad teammate. He is not a malcontent. He doesn't care about targets. He doesn't care about yards. He doesn't care about touchdowns. He cares about winning. Number one above all else. And if he can provide and help the team win by scoring touchdowns and getting catches and grabbing yards, then so be it. But he is not a bad teammate. He is not anybody that wants to disrupt the apple cart, so to speak. And boy, DT, I mean, he was on full display on Sunday. When you talk about somebody in their bag, like Big Mike was, like he was in his bag. Like that touchdown, the spin cycle, like I didn't even know what was going on in respect. I thought I saw the flag come out and I was like, okay, well this might be on them or it might be on us. And then all of a sudden he said, fuck all that. I'm going to the end zone and y'all can figure it out after I'm done. And like, I mean, he is something else, DT. I love him. He's my favorite Buffalo Bill. Hands down. I mean, it's not even. There's no comparison, man. I love him. I love everything about.
I mean, you look, and this is gonna sound a little crazy, but hear me out, right? You know the Kobe Bryant mentality, the Black Mamba. It don't sound crazy to me. Like that, you know, the dog that doesn't stop barking. You know, like that. He might. When you saw that, you know, that flag come out in the spin cycle, it's like, oh, it might be offensive pass interference because. You know, as an official, you're officiating that game, and every single play, Diggs is out there, like running these routes, like grinding into these routes, you know, and it's like, oh, well, the only way he caught that, he probably pushed the guy off of him, you know, so he probably gets called because of that, of just being, you know, angry like that. I don't know what was going on with his socks on that one. He had different socks on. Those are like they said something on them. I'm not sure what the sock deal was, but yeah, the way to just run every single route is, you know, we saw in week one of that one pick Josh Allen had, Gabe Davis ran that lazy ass out route, and you know, you see it all the time in the NFL. These receivers just kind of running blah routes, and it doesn't matter if it's any play. 1-4 is running that thing like like sticking his feet in and getting that done, and he gives that to you every single time, like you said. And what a day for him. Well-deserved, 3 touchdowns. 126 yards. I think he's
Yep.
up there with with the greats when it comes to that,
Yes.
with Randy Moss and Jerry Rice.
Only Jerry Rice and Randy Moss have more games with 3 touchdowns and
4,
120
right?
yards.
Four games with that. So all his routes to score were great. The one was kind of a breakdown. He got in the spot like he loves doing, scored the first one. The spin cycle was crazier, and then that last one he had, that route was that corner was good luck.
He fell down. He looked like he was paying him homage, Big Mike. Yeah. He looked like he was paying tithes, like he was at the altar asking for a prayer to be sent through. I mean, he was falling at the man's feet, man.
The stone cold Selly. I mean, that was hype, baby. Just smashing the beers. Like, do you think he thought about that beforehand, or you think he was just so hyped he just took those things and said,
"Oh no, he's been waiting. He's been waiting.
Oh, you think so?
He's been waiting seasons to do that. Do you understand me? Like, it just
that was sick.
The opportunity has to present itself. So, like, you know what I mean? You get 2 fans in the front, 2 beers. What I'm about to do? Boom! I'm about to smash him. Why not? I love it. Yeah.
Big Mike, what do you love about him, Big Mike? Because I mean, he is he's amazing. Bro. I mean, he's amazing.
I just love his style of play. I love his hustle. I love his leadership.
Yes.
I love the way he supports his teammates. The way he's just he's so dependable. I've never, I know my favorite receiver of all time is Jerry Rice, and that's really the only team that I watched outside the Bills before when I was a kid. So you know what I mean? So to see another dog like that in the league, like, he is a dog. He is dependable. Anytime you need him in the reads, he's open.
Yeah.
At any given moment, he's open, and like he's a you can count on me receiver. And you can't ask for nothing more than that. And his energy, his ability to get the crowd going, his ability to really just capture everybody's attention.
Yes.
Without really doing too much.
Yes.
So,
and
you know what I mean? And I'm talking about off the field. It's not even about on the field. Like, off the field, he's really just like a simple guy.
Quiet. He's a fashion icon, but everybody watches him.
He's an alpha. He's an alpha. So he commands that attention, and he uses it in the correct manner. And you can't ask for a better receiver. I love that dude.
Yeah.
And let's call. I mean, all these fans that love him and do all this, where a lot of people were talking junk about him when he was missing.
Don't get me started, DT.
Yep. But
I keep receipts. I keep receipts when it comes to 14.
I was liking all those memes and videos of him, singing the shout song, getting in with the fans, and it's like, man, this guy's miserable. Get him out of here. He hates it here.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
This dude,
I hate.
This dude obviously hates it here. Like, come on.
And that's the off season. That's why I hate the off season, GT, because people just have too much time.
Man, we had
and then people want to get views. They want to get views, so they talk so much crap, and they just say stuff that they know that's not true. But they're like, you know what? Let's shoot in the dark. And that's
episode 6. We had a whole episode dedicated to this man called "The Miseducation of Stephon Diggs." I encourage anybody to go back and listen to it. That's right before, during the whirlwind that was going on in the offseason. Then we came out 2 weeks later and made another episode because minicamp was getting ready to start. And I had to remind people, be careful what you wish for, because everybody was ready to kick this man out of town because he had missed 1 day of practice. So I just thought it was interesting how they treated him, how Bills Mafia treated him throughout the offseason. And I do keep receipts, DT. You're absolutely wrong. Here at Nickel City Group, we do keep receipts over.
I was just saying,
we're
moving on.
I know we're moving on, but don't just y'all people just know that I know exactly who you are. Sometimes you just keep your grass cut low, and that way you can see the snakes coming. And I know the people that were ready to kick him out. I know the people that wanted to call him malcontent and all this other garbage throughout the offseason. A lot of shit that he had nothing to do with. Because he is, you're absolutely right, Big Mike. He is a great leader, and he's somebody on this team that they need. This Bills team would not be where they are without him. How about that?
Right.
Everybody can put that in their pipe. They can smoke it. They can do whatever they want to do it. They can throw it out. But we would not be the team that we are without him, because he actually elevates the play of your quarterback. And
he shows it every game. Absolutely. He shifts the way the game is played on both sides.
The energy in the building. He moves
and the respect that he commands from the other team. It's like you change the composition of the whole game. And you got to respect a player like that, because that's hard to come by and it's hard to find. So
yeah, it really is. As we begin to wrap up tonight, fellas, I mean, I just have to ask a question to both of you, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your night tonight to join us. I mean, are the Bills the best team in the AFC?
Yes.
Big Mike. I mean,
Yes.
okay, okay. DT, do you care? Do you
Next
care?
question. Yes, DT said yes,
Yes,
too.
sir. Yes, sir. I mean, you got dogs. You gotta.
I love
You're
y'all.
not out of the pen. You're not out of the
Right.
pen, but you're the meanest dog right now.
Okay.
Tell him, DT.
I mean, I was wondering. I'm looking at my schedules and excuse me, my standings. I see KC. I see Baltimore. I see
Rob,
Miami
when
on there
they
that we
throw-
just beat by
Rob,
28.
Rob, when they throw the steak over the fence, we get the most. You understand me?
I love it. Okay, no problem. I was wondering if we're the best team in the AFC. So it's a resounding yes for both of you. I tend to think yes too. Like I said, I saw the Chargers. I'm like, the Chargers. I'm typing down the Chargers. Like who in the AFC can stick with us? I understand that we have to respect Kansas City until they're taken down. Then obviously you have to give honor and respect where it's due. But they don't look the same. They kind of had a struggling game against the Jets, kind of like the Bills did as well. Clearly, the Jets defense is a problem. We know that. We already know that to be true.
Jets D.
Yeah,
the
the Jets
up in fantasy.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they clearly have a number on some of the better quarterbacks in the league. But I mean, I'm just starting to look at it, and the way I was kind of dissecting it, fellas, was like they're starting to look like the team that we thought that they were at the beginning of last year when we beat the defending Super Bowl champs. And then we go home and we dismantle Tennessee. Then we take care of, I think it was Pittsburgh or somebody like that, and then rip them apart. And like, damn, we might really go to the Super Bowl. And everybody thought we were going to we're Super Bowl favorites to make an appearance. They're starting to look like that team from last year. The offense is clicking. We've already given the flowers to Dorsey earlier in this episode, Big Mike. I mean, league leading plus 84 point differential. I mean, even over the Cowboys, they're right below us at 83, but like we didn't blow anybody out by 50 yet. But I mean, like that is pretty impressive, man. You never know when it's going to be your year, fellas. And it's really rare when you can, kind of pinpoint it ahead of time. I was thinking about this earlier today before I talked to you guys. And like, you've got like the Heat big three with LeBron and D Wade and Bosh. And then you've got the Warriors. And then, and then especially when the Warriors bring on KD, where it's kind of like, ahead of time, like this is going to be the team that represents. Most sports are not like that. You never know when it's going to be your year for the most part. And like this, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, could this I remember last year I thought it was going to be the year. I know that, you know what I mean? But like, I'm looking at this team, fellas, like legit, like this you don't know at the beginning of the season what it's going to be, but like this team looks really scary. Yeah, because Von Miller adds another aspect where you're allowed to, like you talked about earlier, DT, you can slow play. Now we can slow play him. Regardless if he plays in London or not, we can slow play him back into the lineup the way that Floyd is playing, the way that
him build up.
Playing. Let it build up. Let it slow roast. And that could be really key. You know what I mean? Because
but you said it beginning of the episode, Rob. It's a week-to-week league.
I know.
And then there are ups and downs. But this team seemed to be focused on. They pushed down the hype of this Miami game a lot. It was just the next game on their schedule. And so is this. So let's stick to that mentality. Let's stick to clicking. Because these teams are going to be game planning. They're going to have some tough games in the future.
Oh, yeah.
But I like it. You couldn't look better than they have.
Week to week, man. Week to week.
Yeah.
I feel like if we keep the same structure going, and I feel like with Dorsey and his play call and the execution of all the talent that we have on the team, and we just keep that consistent, making sure that everybody's playing their part and no turnovers. I've been saying this every week on the podcast, not your average podcast. No turnovers, and we had no turnovers.
Yeah, so clean football.
If we have clean football, bro, there's not a team in the NFL that can beat us.
Wow.
I promise you.
Wow.
I promise you. When we play clean, and we saw that. We saw that. The 70-point hype.
70 points.
We saw that. Once we play clean football, I mean, we are a literal nightmare.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as we play clean football, there's nobody in this league that can touch us.
Yeah, I mean, I have to tend to agree, DT, because I have to tend to agree because it seems that we're a little bit ferocious right now on the defensive side of the football. I gave McDermott his flowers. I don't know how much different, like you talked about, DT, that he would have been with Frazier in that respect with the aggressiveness, because I don't see a ton of blitzing or anything like that. But what I do see is definitely different
they're
schemes
sending
and things
corner.
like that.
They're sending corner blitz the first play of the game. You know.
Yeah,
So.
I
Right, right.
I know. Okay.
And Rob, you know Frazier old ass wouldn't have did none of that. Okay.
Listen, that's my uncle. Don't talk about my uncle at the
Man,
barbecue.
nah,
Yeah,
he burnt the ribs. He burnt the ribs. It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. He burnt the ribs.
Man, we've already given McDermott his flowers on tonight's episode, Big Mike. So I'll stick with you guys on that one. I mean, they do look scary with the defense clicking with the offense. If Josh is going to play calm, I do have to tend to believe that if he's playing like that, I mean, he was locked in, fellas. I mean, he started like 13 for 13 on Sunday. So it really is ridiculous when your quarterback is locked in that way. Now, as we transition and we wrap up tonight, the tailgate report, the official Nickel City Crew, tailgate report. I love it, DT. You know, it's interesting because I was planning on coming up, and then I was having a bad week in respects to like health wise, and I was just a little bit under the weather, and it was like a last second thing for me, and I couldn't go, man. Like, so I posted my tickets late Saturday, and it actually sold right Sunday morning, like at 10 o'clock. So I was really happy about that. And then the fact that I didn't wait too much longer. But DT, I was here down in Charlotte, watching the game with the boys, and it really was kind of just a chill, man. I was just literally trying to just reset and get back to ground level. How was the party, man? Lake Ontario, you hosted a whole bunch of your work buddies up there, man. Talk to us, man, and we'll get your story as well, Big Mike, as you're joining us tonight. But the official Nickel City Crew tailgate report presented by 26 Shirts. How was it for you, DT? How was the party?
Great day. I mean, literally perfection. As the Bills were perfection, almost a perfection in the park is, as we know from this show. It was almost like that up there. Shout out to Nickel City Crew loyal listeners, the Ruggie family, knowing the boys. They hosted well. They did. We smoked some pork shoulder. Had some real good pulled pork going. Had some meatballs, had some chips, had dual screens, an outside screen, an inside screen. Great turnout for the employees. It was a beautiful day all the way around. Had some pops. A beautiful day. Literally not a cloud in the sky, and nice breeze coming off the lake. Great food, great atmosphere. The families were there, the wives were there.
There you go, the wags.
It was just a beautiful day.
The wives and girlfriends,
Got up mad early. Got up there early, because I was kind of juiced up for the game and ready to get rolling and got set up. Caught that 9:30 game, which was kind of cool with the Toy Story theme. I don't know if you guys saw that, but
I did
something
peek
interesting.
at it.
So a nice little poll for the NFL to throw in this week. Though you won't see that. It's going to be all NFL Network this week.
NFL Network,
no ESPN BS, if you will. But you go and got up there early, got it set up, and it just felt like football. We had again, shout out to Noah. They got married at that same location, a couple of weeks prior. So that we still had a keg left from the wedding. So we
beautiful. There you go. Resourcefulness. There we go. Nothing going to waste.
And and just had that nice keg beer at 9:30. Was sitting there with the breeze hitting me, watching that 9:30 game, like getting ready for juice. And then the game started, and it was obviously all celebration from there on out. So beautiful day for the crew. A lot of loyal listeners up there. We gained a few listeners by talking about the pod as we always do. That's one of our, I feel like our tailgates are our best spot to spread the word, spread the gospel of Nickel City Crew. But shout out to the Ruggie family and a beautiful day. Shout out to all my employees that came out and and cherished the game day and made it a good one. As much as we would have both loved to be at that stadium, I hear all week it's the loudest it's ever been.
I know. I was pissed off too. I was pissed off at McDermott talking shit.
If this team keeps playing like this, it'll be louder. It'll be louder. So,
absolutely. Big Mike, what did you do down here? I know we're both in Charlotte, man. What did you do? This is our official Nickel City Crew tailgate report. Again, presented by 26 Shirts. Head on over to 26shirts.com. They all the purchases, actually support a great cause each and every time. What did you do, man? I know we both here in Charlotte, man. I was getting back to the weather. I was under the weather. I was getting back up to weather. What were you doing, Big Mike?
Well, they had a barber expo out here. It was Barberville Barber Expo, and
very nice.
I was actually in class, listening to the game in my headphones.
Oh my gosh, I don't know how you would
So
not.
they had a couple
Show
of
it out.
instructors, and
Yeah.
I was trying to restrain myself. I think I did pretty well.
Yes.
I had one piece in. I was multitasking, and I was actually pleased at how it went. Wasn't able to watch it,
Right.
but I was
But you
able
can
to
hear it.
listen. And it was like the home. Was it Steve Tasker who announces on the
Yes.
radio? So
Yep.
that's who I was listening to, which was refreshing because I hate Tony Romo. I don't know if he was announcing it.
He was.
He makes my skin crawl, and
my goodness.
He did good Sunday.
He did good Sunday.
I hate his hair follicles. That's how much I hate him. So it's like, but nevertheless, I had a great time at the Barber Expo. It was really great turnout, and I listened to the game. And that was just like, it was a double day. You know what I'm saying? I got some great education, and the Bills won.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It was a great day.
Resounding fashion, 48-20 as we wrap up tonight. It was awesome.
So, Charlotte, tell me, both of you guys, tell me about this. I know we've mentioned it quick on the show, but I hear about this all the time. This, what's this place called? Tracks or Trail on the Tracks?
Tavern on the Tracks. So Tavern on the Tracks is the official Bills backers bar down here. I've been attending it ever since I moved down to Charlotte in 2006. I haven't gone as frequently, DT, to be honest, because of the fact that, they got kids, and then you've got, season tickets. And then so most of the time for the away games, I'm more in a chill mode. I'm at the house and I'm just relaxing, recovering from a home game or preparing for an upcoming home game. But when I first moved down to Charlotte, I was probably one of the craziest people you would meet in there. I used to put my gloves on and give high vibes to everybody going around the bar. It's a nice sized bar. It's a Bills and Michigan bar as well for Michigan football, the Wolverines, which I'm also a fan of. So it really was like home for me in the beginning. When I first moved down here, DT, you'd find me there every single week. And I've got many, many memories in that place, including rest in peace to my boy Marv Locke. Bennett, great. And I remember the night we got kicked out of the bar or whatever on the Patriots night. That was the Leonis McKelvin night. And I'll never forget that night. So it's a place that's got some crazy memories for me for sure. So I don't go up there as often with the kids, but yes, when you do come down to Charlotte, that is where we'll go. We'll get some good wings, and I know the owners there, and they're good people. So as we wrap up tonight, well, it's going to be crazy, isn't it? Like, I mean, in London, it's going to be crazy, isn't it? I mean, it's going to be crazy, isn't it, bruv? They call him bruv. I mean, it's going to be crazy, bruv. 9:30.
Hey, we're gonna dip them like some biscuits and come on home.
I love it. 9:30 a.m. Our Bills literally go across the pond on Thursday to battle the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, again, are already in London. They just finished up playing the Atlanta Falcons, as DT spoke about. And it'll be interesting. There's all those sports science people, and, will rest, and will the Jaguars already be in there? Will that be an advantage? Will the Bills coming late or early? Will that be an advantage? And yada, yada, yada. Listen, they have to get out to the field. They have to go play football eventually, and all the conjecture and all the talk will stop. So the Bills playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, 9:30 a.m. Sunday, fellas. What is your plan to not miss the game? I sent out a message.
I have an alarm set on my phone already. I have an alarm set on my phone.
Oh my God, I don't know.
I got the TV already. It's just I'm set up.
I am so nervous because I'm
roll
a hard
over
sleeper.
and cut the TV on.
I'll tell you what, Big Mike. I sure as hell don't need an alarm for game day. Even if it is at 9:30. I sure as hell don't need an alarm for game day.
I just don't want to get too cocky, bro, and slip through the game. Like, I feel like I don't need an alarm because I'm always up all the time, like early. But I just don't want to chance it. You know what I'm saying?
I won't even front on y'all, Big Mike. I won't front on you, DT. I am terrified. I think I'll leave the back door open. That way somebody can come in the house and wake me up, because I promise you I'm in grave danger of missing it if I don't play my cards right. So I'll try to get to bed a little bit earlier.
I'll set an
alarm
Saturday,
because I can sleep with a jackhammer outside of my door, DT. So I may not be like you, man. I can sleep with anything going on. So I'm very nervous. I tend to be up. We're gonna have breakfast week here at the crib. And some breakfast sandwiches. Already got the biscuits and got the breakfast meats and yada yada yada. So the kids are really excited about it. Nate, especially for sure, because he's my ride or die for these games. So we'll be up, man, and I'll make sure the kids wake me up.
Shout out crew listeners. You got Kai and Paige, our Viking faithful.
Yeah.
They invited me over to their house. They're having a nice little party,
little breakfast
situation.
And mimosas.
So
gotta have the mimosas, Big Mike.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to be after it early and often. I mean, let's talk about this travel for a second. I mean, the squad's going tomorrow, right? Tomorrow
Thursday,
evening.
Yep.
And we
we
got
release on Thursdays.
5 hours or 6 hours ahead.
About 6, yep. About
6
6
hours, okay. So, so you're going an overnight flight leaving, let's call it 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow from Buffalo. You know, they don't got to mess around going through Toronto or any of that bullshit. They can go right from Buffalo, get in. So it's going to be, they're going to be in there morning Friday.
The key, they said, everybody on WGR says the key is to sleep on the plane. As long as they sleep on the plane or find a way to, when you get to London, don't go to sleep. Stay up, go to practice, and do whatever the hell you're going to do, and then get to bed
and then
early
sleep
that
early that Friday night. And then Saturday, you're feeling a little more normal. Maybe a little foggy Saturday, normal day. Then game day, you're normal.
So you got to pull it all. Right? So they got to pull an all nighter on Thursday.
No, sleep on the plane. They said that. I heard people on WGR.
Are they getting the pods?
No, I'm saying if they're leaving Thursday or Friday.
Thursday night, but they're saying that they suggest everybody go to sleep.
Like you gotta sleep or you gotta stay up. If it's a night game, if it's a 6 a.m. flight, you gotta stay up all the night before.
No, I think it's a night flight.
Yeah, it's a night flight.
Yeah, and it's probably like a 7-8 hour flight. But then with the time difference,
sleep on a plane.
Another 6. So you're looking at about a 12-hour flight, if you will, right?
And then,
as long as
they get in the pods,
you're in the sleep window. You're in the sleep window, right?
There's no pods.
Yeah, they'll be in the sleep window. It'll be
overnight. They'll be in the sleep window, but they're not chartered flights. It'll be a nice big plane. I don't know how many people will be able to stretch out like 6'5" Josh Allen, but I mean, I'm sure they'll let some of the linemen make sure that they get a chance to stretch out. But yeah, that's the key thing I heard was that you better go to sleep when you're flying out there. That way, when you do land in London, you don't want to be tired on top of the fact that you cannot go to sleep because it's
wide awake when you get back.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see how they manage it. I'm sure, again, those sports science people, DT, Big Mike, they've got that type of thing covered. They've probably done
if anything, this team is calculated, right?
Yeah.
This team is, if anything, they're calculated. So whatever they're doing, you got to trust it and trust the science. I kind of like not going for a longer term, like all this, like, oh, we're going to see the London
big
bridges and all that. Like, screw all that. These dudes are multi-millionaires.
Right.
You want to go to London, go in the off-season on vacation.
Yeah,
like,
it's a business trip.
And,
it's a business trip.
And never forget 1776, baby. Screw London anyway. So let's get in there and take care of business.
The historical data. I love it. Nickel City Crew is educational. Now we're educational is why I love it, man. Do not forget as well, Nickel City Crew, Bills Mafia, that Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where the Bills will be playing Sunday morning is again, it's a rough sketch. So it's when you see it on the screen coming back from commercials and stuff like that, no, it's not going to be the Ralph 2.0, but it's going to be something very similar. They say around 60 to 65% of the stadium will be covered in that canopy to help us out in those long winter nights and days when it's wet, it's cold. 60% of the stadium, the new Ralph, should be covered. So when you see that picture come back from the stadium on commercials, just that it's a rough idea of what you're getting ready to get with the new Bills Stadium in 2026. So it should be fun, fellas. I appreciate you, Big Mike. I know you came on a little late, but I'm happy that you got a chance to chop it up with us and talk about at least Josh and Stefan, because that's definitely at least some of the two most passionate topics that we have here at Nickel City Crew, because DT is a huge Josh Allen fan, and everybody knows that I went 1-4 till we die. So we ride on him. As always, man, I appreciate you guys spending time out of your night, man. Please, man, spread love, not hate. These were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Hit them with a go Bills, please, DT.
Go Bills.
Please, Big Mike.
Go Bills. 4-1.
Listen. Nickel City Crew.
Yo.
If you're not following them, follow them.
Let's go.
Not Your Average Podcast in the 716, all platforms.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love how we cross-pollinate. Please go follow us. Please, and I let people know when the day after I leave, when I'm on the podcast with T, I always shout y'all out. So it's all love across the board,
we really do, man. We appreciate
you. Go Bills.
We love T. We love Big Mike over there again at Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. We appreciate y'all tonight. I really do as well, man. I've been really excited this week. Couldn't wait to get this episode out. I appreciate y'all joining me tonight, man. Go Bills, man. We good, man. We out of here, man. We'll see y'all next week, man. It's London. We ready to go, bro. We ready to go.